Hello, you wolves out there, and welcome back to another episode of Moss. Last time, Quill and the Reader enter the mire only to encounter the Queen Sprite herself, Vader. Today, the duo encounter new territories where greater danger lurks. Sit back and enjoy yet another episode of Moss. Welcome back to the world of Moss, everyone. Today we'll see what Quill and the Reader have in store for them. This is the entryway to the mire. And the mire seems to be more of a sanctuary home for this land that all the creatures once inhabited. And you'll see inside when we get there, there are a lot of statues of nobility and knighthood and stuff of that sort. As you can see around in the circle, there's already some knights in cloaks, swords. But it's all overgrown, which means there hasn't been life here in quite some time. You got another puzzle just to open the door. Fairly simple.
Quill's favorite story. How Sir Argus fought beside the Sprite Champion to seal this temple from the arcane and secured the survival of their kinds. Simply standing in their heroic footsteps felt like a great honor.
So as you can see again, there's a lot of vegetation. Clearly there hasn't been any life here in some time. And just for reference, again, we learned about the arcane, which I don't know if it's just the energy, the evil energy that kind of took over, or if it's an actual group of sorts, or the mixture of the two. I'm not entirely certain yet. That part of the lore is still kind of unknown. The Sarfog, the giant serpent that we do face in the end, is part of the arcane. So for people who are less familiar with this game, I'm just clearly breaking all these pots and getting as many of the fragment pamphlets as possible. Kind of give newcomers an understanding of how the game operates, areas that you might want to look at before you leave a particular area. So this puzzle is clearly a little bit more tough than the previous puzzles, but still no problem. As you go on, they do get a little bit more intricate. Here's a little battle royale for all you viewers. It's a nifty tactic to utilize, grabbing a hold of one guy while you beat the other. So this puzzle's not too bad. In my first playthrough, I did not see that white precipice there. A little ledge. So I was running around in a bunch of circles trying to figure out how to even get up on that movable block. Couldn't figure it out. Sometimes you just gotta have a keen eye. And what's nice is that once you get these guys on a button, they collapse and then they stay there until you choose to move them off the button. So you'll see I don't have to worry about the enemy there getting back up to attack me. And again, you can take a moment while playing this game, and I encourage everyone to do so, anyone who plays it, take in the scenery. They're small areas, but they're highly detailed. Every detail that they made was intentional. They did it with care and a purpose, and you can see that. So again, the puzzles get a little bit more intricate. Take your time, you learn them. There's a part in this puzzle that requires such precise timing. I always get hit and hurt. I don't die, but I get hurt. I'm pretty certain through this run through it happens. You know, the first time or a couple of times. It's this part right here. It has to be so precise. So, otherwise that part will come down and hit you. So I don't know if you saw it the first time, but there's a hole right there. And by going through this hole, that puts me in a good position to get this scroll fragment. Without really using your body to maneuver and look around, you can easily miss little things like that. You can see I'm standing up, sitting down, moving in close to get better vantage points. As you can see, I can only keep one bug on to open the gates and stop the movement of all those pillars. Brings us out to the main lobby or main entryway that we started in. Now there's a big cylindrical puzzle. I forgot about that feature. You can grab pots. As the reader, you can use your little blue orb to grab pots. I think even boxes. And if you grab it and pull, it'll make them shatter. So those tough to reach areas with Quill, you can just try to gain access as the reader. So now you can see what each button does. Yeah, these puzzles are so unique and so perfect for virtual reality. Just so perfectly done. I think I stick my head in here to kind of show you. Now hitting that button opens that up. Asking for a high five. Give it a little high five. Alright. She's pointing that way. Bring me over there. You truly form a partnership throughout this game with Quill as the reader, because she needs your help just as much as you need her help. Hard to see, but there's a little ledge right there that I'm trying to go on. My last playthrough, that was the only scroll fragment I was missing. I never saw that ledge there before. So yeah, maneuvering this can be awfully tricky. Of course you have to destroy all these guys. So that arcane field is preventing you from moving forward. Again, using that skill like before, you hold one guy while trying to deal with the other. Fortunately, I screwed that up there. I knock him down, and I jump, get myself into a safe position. Of course, I forgot to break those pots. Now I gotta do all that again. Of course, you're probably thinking, well, Chris, why don't you just hop up on those steps there next to the guy on your left and kill him? Well, clearly I wasn't thinking about that at the time. I was focused on the scroll. So yeah, it's not good enough to simply just grab the enemy. You notice I grab and I wait for that little click and pop, which means that deactivates the machine temporarily. So you're probably wondering why I'm doing that. like I said, I've done these puzzles, so I remember how to do them fairly well. Figuring out how to get this scroll took me so long. I was finally able to do it. So each one of these, I don't know what you call those, activation lamps or triggers, perform different actions. So figuring out how to manipulate those in an effective way so that you can reach that fragment. That is what took me a while to figure out. There you go. Hopefully, for anyone who has had difficulty trying to get that scroll, this has helped you. For anyone willing to go on this adventure with Quill, I hope that makes getting all the scroll fragments easier for you. Sometimes broken pots look like they're not broken. So now you know the purpose of lighting all those torches. Face mask item that I got from that chest, or that Quill got from the chest. That was necessary to act as the key to the door. So this whole scene turns into a very, I don't say very lengthy, but a fairly lengthy battle royale-esque fight. Some more arcane power to prevent us from going forward. So there's a pattern to these platforms, which one goes up and which one doesn't. Because of my familiarity with the puzzle, I know which one comes up and which one doesn't after each fight. The pattern is left, right, right. So I use the power of the arcane forces to finish this fight, and use Quill very, very little. You can end this fight a lot faster if you so choose by using both the arcane power, I don't know, power gun, I guess you might want to call this guy's little weapon. You can use the arcane power and Quill at the same time. You just have to be very skilled at being able to manipulate the arcane warrior and Quill simultaneously, which is not an easy feat. I am able to do it, but this time around I chose not to. A lucky hit. Alright, moving on to the last round. tell that the arcane power gun is not nearly as powerful as Quill's saber. However, this can save you some headache of fighting as Quill with all those enemies. It can become rather difficult. I'm still good enough to take them all on, but again, there's not to this time around. Besides, I like shooting the gun. Bam. Battle Royale complete.
Quill felt a swell of pride as she approached the Cavern River. Its guiding banks once led her people to safety after the Cinder Night. Now, all these years later, she would follow it back. Quill's muscles ached, and her eyes grew heavy. She decided it best to set up camp and rest before journeying on to the castle.
Hey, kid. Good. You're alive.
The Starling spoke as it circled the campfire. Quill gasped in shock as the Starling unveiled monstrous wings and curled horns. It descended, talons gleaming.
Oh dear, I didn't mean to scare you.
I'm not scared, Quill replied. I just didn't know starlings were feathered.
This starving thing's gotta go, kid. The name's Adurin. No, we aren't feathered. Only me. I'm working on it. Let's just say choosing the wrong friends comes with the price. But you seem like a good friend to have.
Thanks, I think. Quill readied her meal and paused to take in the strange winged creature who now called her friend.
Now it's nighttime in the cathedral. Or library.
As a field of stars bloomed over the sky, their campfire conversations deepened. He's all I have. If I lose him, I don't know what I'll do, confided Quill. Adurin looked down at his wings.
If I help you find him, can you help me?
If we can, we will, Starling. I mean, Adurin. Although Quill was far from the safety and comfort of her nook in the cottage, her exhaustion led her into a deep sleep.
Hey, Ghostface. A lot of folks have been waiting for a reader like you to return. I know I have. I'm going to scout the castle up ahead. Keep her safe, okay? For both our sakes.
The darkwood falls before me.
And that concludes another episode in Moss. Today's story led us through an old castle once inhabited by Quill's people. For years, foliage is the only thing inhabiting this land. As Quill and Adurin rest on the beach, Adurin expresses his thanks and trust in the reader to protect Quill through her journey. Stay tuned for another episode of Moss, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments below. Until next time, peace.
Into the forest I will fly, and in its shadow